What?
Alright, hello everybody, this is Hobo Bacon's Caiman and Hobo Bacon's Han here, and we're going to do a replay. So we figured out finally that we're way better casters when we don't have to worry about actually playing the game while casting. So here we are, we're going to cast one of our replays. So here I am as the blue Zerg, Han over here as the red Terran. Down in the bottom left, we have Zombiepain, the blue Protoss, and Escalade as the light blue Protoss. So overall, it was actually a pretty standard opening. I don't know if Han wants to weigh in on this or not.
Well, actually, like, you may have thought it was a standard opening. It really wasn't. Because Escalade, like, when I looked at, you know, the graphs and everything, he had no army value. He put everything into turrets, or photon cannons.
Yeah, okay, I guess it was a standard opening for me. I wasn't really paying attention when we played the game. So yeah, Escalade is moving into a Forge first game, which is not bad against Zerg, especially with a rush and whatnot. Though now Zerg don't rush like that as much as they used to. Zombiepain has more of the standard opening with a gateway first. And of course Han doing his barracks. That was an SCV. His barracks, and I talk way too fast because it really wasn't a standard opening for anybody, because I did a hatch.
Yeah, you did like 15 pool,
yeah,
and then
15 hatch to spawning pool. So, which I like going against Protoss because of all of them. I feel like Protoss has the least. They're the least likely to rush. Even though getting proxy gateways and all that other stuff and everything, it is the least likely. So not impossible, but I feel more comfortable doing it that way. And now he's setting up here for a cannon wall. And I've kind of figured it out that something is amiss, considering that there's a whole bunch of nothing back at his main base. Which is why I have this Overlord heading up to look around. So there's the Zealot coming out. One gas going down, and a cybernetics core after the Forge. So this is where I'm looking around,
now,
wondering what in the world
I think we
is
should
going
state
on.
that I was doing an air mech build, which is usually not really good against Protoss.
Yeah, well, because I was going for ground. So the whole strategy...
Yeah, you were supposed to go for ground.
Yeah, that 100% fell apart halfway through. I didn't know he came up and tried to scout. Oh, with the Zealot. Oh, so this is the Zealot. I saw his second Zealot coming out. Anyways, so yeah, I was originally going to go for ground because I have swarm hosts and whatnot that can eat away at Zealots as well as stalkers. Well, really anything that costs more than like 40 or 50 minerals. 40 minerals? Does anything cost 40 minerals?
No, I think minimum is 50 for anything.
Yeah, so... Whoops. So here we are, and now we're
And
finally getting into a little bit of action. I've got a lot of Zerglings coming, and the way that Han and I play it is that the Zerglings are mostly a distraction for the Zealots, and then he will take his Marines and actually do the killing of the Zealot. Or, in that case, the Queen's there to help. Now, this scouting that I have with these two Overlords is actually it was super helpful for us to be able to see that he came down here and that he was going to, I knew he was going to expand even before it went all the way around. So it was nice for us to know, like, okay, we're ahead, we've got our stuff under control. Well, I'm ahead. I've got both of my expansions up and running. I'm cock-locking, ready to rock. Let's go up here.
Yeah, I did something I think
positions.
is kind of risky. Like, I went for two, and, I had the money. I went for two command centers, early, just so I could get that mule drop down. And I'm bad at spending my money. And once it gets later into the game, I'm sitting there like trying to do everything, but mules, they crack everything up so quickly.
Yeah.
especially at enriched mineral field. I think I was at like 5,000, like just trying to like throw some at you. Like
Good grief. You were giving me minerals that whole time? I guess that's fair. I wasn't paying any attention to
I
that.
don't think I was, but like I was trying to build things, and my multitasking is not the greatest. So
It happens. And again, we're not professionals. We just do this for the fun. So he has a nice big turret wall. God, that's so many photon cannons. So many photon cannons. It literally, from one corner of my screen to the other, is photon cannons. Now, Zombiepain is actually the only one with any form of army, which is, I guess, good, bad, or indifferent. It allows me to come out and expand again, which is imperative as a Zerg player to be able to stay an extra base ahead. Or in this case, for Escalade, I was getting up to 2 bases ahead. Have all my Zerglings. You've got Marines coming down. Though realistically, at this point, we couldn't have won because, again, there is a corner to corner of freaking photon cannons. But if we'd been able to slip around there, we'd been able to get in no problem. He has one
and I
zone
meant
down
to
here
build
working on.
turrets around my base, and everyone will understand why, but I kind of got too distracted with everything else.
Which was okay. And I mean, right now we're actually we're pretty set. There's your command center going over onto
Yeah,
to the
which it
enriched
took
mineral field.
me a little bit to get started because I was busy with
Freaking out.
other things.
It's okay. You can say it. Freaking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, well, you know, working on 4 hours of sleep is just
No
kind of kills me.
excuses.
No
So
excuses,
then here
play
he
like a
comes.
champ.
He finally Escalade put up a gateway, which I don't necessarily disagree with this strategy in a 2v2. I don't think I would ever tell anybody that that was a good idea any other time. And here's where the big suck comes in. Unfortunately, I did not see this going around.
Hey, App? Yeah, 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. So this is the part that really manages to screw with us. And it was a good strategy. Now that they're blocked in, they can do things like this. Have that Dark Shrine up there, and another 6 gateways. Like, he was going for broke. But we had the income overall to really be able to crank. And this is where I failed, because I immediately went for Spire, even though I was not at all supposed to. And here comes in the big attack that ends up just ripping away. So this put us behind a little bit, but we were prepared for it. Well, ish. I did have Overseers, and Han was able to lift off here fairly quickly for at least most of the buildings that mattered. In the engineering bay, this is why he needed to put up turrets. The engineering bay, it sucks that it got lost. Now he can't put up the turrets, but I have the Overseer, and he had Sky Dominance. So those guys, they weren't getting out. Oh, I guess I didn't see this part of the battle. There you go, Vikings. All 6 of them. So there was that, but at this point, I also had my Mutalisks up here. And that was kind of scary, but once you got past that and realized that there really wasn't a whole lot else, it wasn't that bad. And then from there, again, he needed those defenses up a little bit earlier because I got to pick them apart. Now, this is where the split up became real, as it were, because he has those 6. And if I knew that he only had those 6, I probably would have just fought them. But, oh no, he's got more coming. So, took out the what are these? Stargates. Took out the Stargates, pulled back. They can have that for now. I've done my damage. Now it's time to recover, recuperate. What I really should have done was to come over here and start attacking these pylons. Instead, I kind of didn't. But now he's just getting his expansion up and running, and that's where we'll really start pulling in the advantage, is that I have 3 bases that are up and running. Han even has 2 bases that are doing, well, he's got a ton of mules, so they're doing great. And bringing us first back up. So we for sure had the advantage economically, although I guess the Zombiepain had his own 3rd base up and running. Now this is where he scouted me out up here, so he knows that this is relatively exposed, and that's where all the rest of his Dark Templar come out.
I'm back!
He's back.
With a vengeance.
Han is back.
Mostly, maybe.
Why with a vengeance? Why can't there be like 2 or 3?
No,
I did actually catch this right here, and that's why you see all the little clicks going, "Oh, little dude, go over there!"
Wait, what?
I think
oh.
he actually ends up... Yeah, he takes that out, but I end up killing all of his Dark Templar, which is huge victory for me. Like, there's no... I can sacrifice all the things that I want compared to that one Dark Templar. Or what, that was there 8 Dark Templar. So got back in, doing more harassing with the Mutalisk, which again is not what was supposed to be happening at all. The Mutalisk weren't supposed to be there. It turns out that it was great that they were, but not supposed to be. I lose a couple here, but again, I've done my damage. I've kept him from making any real sort of air units to compare
yeah,
with.
And I should have gone with a couple more Banshees, just to have that like extra anti-ground force.
Yeah. Which though it wasn't. Again, it wasn't bad. So we're doing pretty good. The Dark Templar kind of are throwing us off, but overall, I've got 24 Mutalisks out. Even compared to the 14 Stalkers, realistically, I could have gone in there and just started wiping Stalkers out, and I probably should have. But
here are more DTs.
Yeah, more DTs coming, which is overall fine. I'm not worried, considering all the detection now that I have.
Should have had an Overlord over there generating creep.
Yeah, in retrospect, I would have, but at the same point, I didn't realize this. He saw all of those Mutalisks, so he knew that those were there. And if/when they move out. But it wasn't.
No, he pulls them.
It wasn't a huge deal. He does pull them, which I find that kind of interesting. I don't know why he would do that. And right now, the game's kind of at that standstill of. The way that I see it is that they don't have the economy. They together don't have the same economy that we do. It's 5 bases to 6, and they've cut themselves off. There's no. I mean, they can come out and expand and do all this other stuff, but we control most of the battlefield. So I come back in, I've got my, 23 Mutalisks now?
Yeah.
And I'm cock-locking ready to roll.
Yeah, this is really, like, bad, because, Zombiepain, like, he has to keep moving his army from one side to the next, and if he splits them up, he loses, like, the meat of the force, like, he won't be able to go against, like, the Mutalisks,
Yeah,
like that.
And that's
take
one of
a
those
lot
things where it's great to have like the divide and conquer sort of mentality. On the flip side, you can't completely divide. And now Zombiepain is finally getting up Stargates to help supplement that. And the biggest thing, they have to combat all of my Mutalisks. But now I've got my Swarm Hosts coming out. And Swarm Hosts, I would say, are, especially in the lower leagues, are just the best thing to have against Protoss, because they just eat Zealots, and for anytime free units are involved, it's a good day. Now I believe I did see most of that force and sent them out there. I've kind of resigned myself.
4 of your guys
right now.
didn't go down.
What's up?
I said 4 of your guys didn't go down.
Yeah, they kind of just... They're douchebags. But I've kind of resigned myself with that force to losing this base, which it was fine. Just said, okay, that one's done. We'll take out this force, and then we can start moving in. I preemptively went in knowing that now there's no force there. So here we go. And he was going for, I assume... is that... No, oh, jeez. Wow, that's not what I wanted at all. My bad. And now I can get in here and really just demolish the economy that had already been with all of these turrets. So many photon cannons that there was really no coming back from it once I destroyed that.
Yeah. But
and then
here,
realizing
and this is...
that his base was down here, I was set. On top of Han coming down and starting to harass up here and demolish with his fleet, which again, not really is the best option ever, but why not? We'd already had them, I don't want to say down and out, because they definitely could have come back from it, but it was a much more one-sided battle economically. Plus pulling in, oh, he didn't have any observers over there. Those guys were just kind of like following me. Up there, the swarm hosts, and these guys are just rallied to back there. The locusts are just going to destroy indiscriminately, along with.
Oh yeah, I actually took
here.
out quite a good chunk of his stalkers with what I had.
Yeah, and so with all the stalkers coming down, it was a much. Again, it was the economy that Escalade didn't have the economy comparatively to say, okay. And this scared me. The observers with swarm hosts are terrifying. So I flew all my mutalisks over to take those things out, because really, not that I needed to, but protecting the swarm hosts is the winning play of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he paused the game.
And quit.
Yeah.
This is weird.
That was one for us finally actually getting to cast and seeing all the action instead of us sitting here quietly. And I had so many more that were just kind of like waiting, hanging out at the rally point. But that's how we did that, and we'll have another game coming up here in a minute. And that'll be us for the day. Later days.